Sound of a newspaper rustling, followed by a pause. Have you ever heard of a job called Last Contact? I didn't think so. Sound of a person flipping through a newspaper, followed by a pause. That's strange, because without last contact, society would collapse within a week. I learned about it the summer after high school while looking through classified job listings. Most were normal: warehouse work, landscaping, retail. Sound of a person sighing, followed by a pause. Then I found one that read, Last Contact Trainee. Sound of a pen scratching on paper, followed by a pause. No experience required. Sound of a person muttering to themselves, followed by a pause. Must be willing to work with the recently deceased. Sound of a person shuddering, followed by a pause. $2,000 sign-on bonus. Sound of a cash register ringing, followed by a pause. $45 hourly wage. Sound of a person's eyes widening, followed by a pause. That caught my attention. I figured that it was some position at a funeral home or maybe the morgue. That was fine by me, so I called the number at the bottom of the listing. A dull voice answered the phone by the third ring. Hello? Sound of a phone ringing, followed by a pause. Hello. I'm calling about the Last Contact job listing. I saw it in the paper. Oh, yes. What is your name? It's Will. Very well, Will, we will give you a call back in a few days. Thank you. With that, the line went dead. Sound of a person rolling their eyes, followed by a pause. I rolled my eyes and went about my day, thinking I just fell for some prank. The pay should have tipped me off, it was way too good to be true. Sound of a person flipping through a newspaper, followed by a pause. The next couple of days, I continued my job search. No position offered what the Last Contact one did. Must have called 10 fast food places with no luck. Sound of a phone ringing, followed by a pause. 3 days later, I was shocked to receive a call from a familiar number. Hello? I answered. Hello, Will. Congratulations on becoming the newest member of the Last Contact family. We're excited to have you join us. Sound of a person's voice trembling, followed by a pause. I was dumbfounded. Thanks. I managed to say. Sound of a person's voice cracking, followed by a pause. If it's convenient for you, we'd like to begin this coming Monday. Yes, that should work for me. Sound of a person's voice fading away, followed by a pause. Great, we're assigning you to the night shift. You'll need to be at our call center by 9 p.m. Monday night. Sound of a person's voice dropping to a whisper. Thank you, have a nice day. Sound of a person's voice fading away, followed by a pause. As I set down my phone, I wondered what exactly I had gotten myself into. Sound of a car engine starting, followed by a pause. Looking back, if I had known what Last Contact was at that time, I probably never would have shown up. Sound of a car driving, followed by a pause. Monday came quick. I packed myself a small bag of snacks and lunch, hopped into my crummy car, and crossed town to the call center. Sound of a car driving through a desolate area, followed by a pause. The call center itself was a rundown small industrial building next to the train tracks. Sound of a train whistle blowing, followed by a pause. It had a tiny parking lot lit by a lone flickering streetlight. Sound of a streetlight humming, followed by a pause. And a single light on the building illuminating the walkway to a plain door. Sound of a door creaking, followed by a pause. Pulling into the parking lot, I took a moment to double-check the address. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. This was the place. Sound of a car door opening, followed by a pause. I stepped out of my car and slowly walked to the door. Sound of footsteps echoing through an empty hallway, followed by a pause. Pulling the handle, I found it to be locked. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. I stood there for a moment, unsure what to do. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. A little voice in my head told me to turn back to my car and get out of here. Sound of a car door opening, followed by a pause. But instead I gave the door a firm knock. Sound of a door creaking, followed by a pause. After a short pause, the door swung open. Sound of a door creaking, followed by a pause. The man who opened the door was short and a little pudgy. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. He had thinning dark brown hair, long sideburns, and thin glasses that sat low on his nose. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. He looked tired but not sleepy. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. "Are you Will?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sound of a person's voice trembling, followed by a pause. I nodded, my voice caught in my throat. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. The man's eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a chill run down my spine. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. "Yes, I'm Will," I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. The man's face broke into a tired smile, and he stepped aside, allowing me to enter. Sound of a door creaking, followed by a pause. As I stepped inside, I felt a sense of dread wash over me. Sound of a person's voice whispering to themselves, followed by a pause. I had a feeling that I was in over my head.